Thank you very much for this opportunity to say a few words about this very important book. It is of utmost importance that we continue to have a discussion about the relationship between political Islam, also issues of extremism. So this is a very, very important contribution to the debate. The debate should not be covered by taboos, but by exchange of information. So I congratulate the author on this very important book.
The book by Dr. Al-Suwaidi is an important book in public debates, but also sometimes in academic debates. We tend to conflate all kinds of labels such as Islam, political Islam, fundamentalism, radicalism, and so on. And I think it's an interesting and worthwhile effort to try to distinguish normative Islam and political Islam. So I very much look forward to reading it.
The Mirage is one of the most important books published the last couple of years. It's covering the Islam and the political interpretation of Islam, that's Islamism. To reform Islam, you know, to be able to identify what parts of Islamism is to be reformed. And the Mirage is one of the most important contributions to this.
So this book is one of the most interesting books that's coming out in the recent years. And the main point and the main advantage of the book is that it paints a way forward to reform and make it possible to combine Islam and democracy, non-violence to an extent that very few people have done before. So it's highly recommended reading.
The Mirage is a very great book about Islamism and very essential today to have in studies in the university. And the Professor Shoukeir has been a very wonderful work about this ideology, and it's possible today to have it as a student of political man. Thank you.
So we should never forget this book by Dr. Jamal, because it intends very clearly to understand and give a very good understanding about actually what Islam does mean. It is religion of peace. And of course there is peace, there is also all the time anger. And so we have to put the emphasis on the spiritual aspect of Islam, which means love with Allah, love divine. And love is something from the heart, much more than from the brain. And in that way it is important that our people read this book. Not only for our students at our faculty here nearby in Antwerp, but for many people around the world. Because until now Islam has had a bad picture, but we will overcome, and the good will always be the light of the Lord.
We are glad today here at the faculty to organize this academic meeting, and it's also very interesting to introduce this book, the book of Professor Dr. Jamal Suwaid, who has entitled with the Mirage. I think it's one of the publications that's very interesting here in Europe, in our European context, because it makes a distinction between the political Islam and the normative Islam, and therefore we hope in the future to have more publications such as the Mirage.
I really enjoyed to read this book because it's a book who goes much further than most of the books. It starts with a kind of history. It also starts with saying about which way you can see religions. It starts about the political religion aspects. Anyway, it's talking about everything. It's also do a very clear investigation on the field in which they go very far in the way people think, and at the end they make conclusions how everything has to be involved, how everybody has to make an evolution in thinking, and that's the good part of the book. You can take a lot of knowledge about this book, and you can take it, it's very important for all your arguments which you can have in these kind of discussions.
Hello and greetings from Antwerp, Belgium. We are here at an international academic conference speaking about the topic of Islam, extremism, political Islam. One of the books being presented is Le Mirage from Jamal al-Suwaidi, and we've been discussing mainly the way at which Islam is approached in Western liberal democracies. One of the deep questions is the questions of the thawabit, as they say, which are the essential constants within Islam. And the context of Islam, the context in which it evolves also in Western societies such as here in Belgium is crucial. And I think that the scholars who are presenting here today have delivered a contribution to the knowledge, to the expertise, which is still in development, and that is something which I can only applaud. Such as this book as well. Thank you, Dr. al-Suwaidi.
For some time already, the Emirates are developing a very progressive and tolerant way of interpreting Islam. And the author of this book, Mirage, Sanat al-Suwaidi, is one of the important intellectuals of his country who is promoting this kind of policy. And the interpretation that is given to Islamic society in this book is a very fine one, and is trying to give Islam and Islamic society and the Islamic countries a right place in our modern present world.
Thank you. I think it's very important to have the book Le Mirage, because it gives a very good overview. What is the impact of religion, and also the nuances of the impact of religion. And in giving that kind of overview, I think this is a very good book, not only for scholars but also for students and also for people who are really practitioners in the field.
So today we are still struggling with extremist groups who are misusing the Islam to counter benefit, actually, and this is a fight we have to win, but on an intellectual kind of way. We have to make sure that those youngsters who are easy to be manipulated by people with wrong thoughts about Islam, by stoning women, by throwing gay people from towers, by committing crimes, by blowing themselves up and killing many innocent people. We have to convince those youngsters by prevention and proaction that this is not the real Islam.
My name is Johan Temmerman. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Theology and Religious Studies in Brussels. We study religion on a broad plane, try to make efforts against the wrong ideas about religions, especially Islam. This book, The Mirage, I want to say beautiful, open, broad perspectives, really open to the world in a good sense. Therefore, I want to say, read it, talk about it, discuss it. It's a good thing to do that together with other people, together with other religions. Let's get together and make a coherent worldview out of all religions all together. That's our aim. That's his aim, so we like it. Thank you.